advised.
I forgot to change the intro.
It's okay. I look so much like Trey that we may be able to get away with
You
it.
might,
My traps are the same size.
Yes.
Biggest difference right now is I have sleeves on my shirt.
Yeah.
And so
This is what Trey looks like when he's wearing
Shirts.
shirts. Full shirts. Well, welcome to Whiskey Weights and Whey. That intro may be a little confusing if you're catching us at the beginning. I was a little messed up when I was getting us all set up. I just was all over the place. I had somebody sitting in my chair who's still over there playing on his phone right now, but he distracted me, messed me up. But this is Whiskey Weights and Whey, not Alabama Strong Podcast. Both are on the EFI studios. I'm Chuck.
I'm Trey. I'm Zach.
Welcome to Whiskey Weights and Whey. Who we got here? We got Keith with us already. What's going on, Keith? Well, you want to pour a drink?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to do the first call this week.
Okay.
We had it a few months ago. I can't remember where we got. Did we get this in Tampa?
Yes, we did.
Oh, we actually opened this one up in Tampa.
Mm-hmm. It's a good drink.
It was so good.
Hey, Brennan, Keith. Think so?
Scotty, would you like a pour? No, you gonna sit in, but you ain't gonna drink?
We got Scotty to the right of me, off screen.
Yeah. What's up, Matt? Chin chin.
Chin chin.
Let us know what you're drinking with us. Because I know Matt's drinking. Stan's with us. What's going on, Stan? So, did you work out today?
I didn't. This is the first complete day off I've taken in probably weeks.
How does it feel?
It feels good. Like I slept in this morning. I usually get up and go for a run or a hike or something. I just needed to sleep in. I mean, I slept into like 5:45.
Yeah.
But it was still sleeping in comparative to getting up at 4:30.
Sleep.
No, and then I had a client right after, like a private practice client right after real work.
Yeah.
And so it ran over just a little bit late. So I was just, hey, I'm just gonna go for a brief 20-minute walk.
That's real work. It's just your side job.
You're right. You're right.
A Woodford Reserve double oaked as a post workout. Nice.
Double.
Ours is a double oak as well.
Is it a double?
It's not a double. It's just a double. But
It is our post. Well, it's my post workout. Scotty's drinking his energy drink. You sure you don't want some whiskey to chase that with?
No, I do not.
Oh, I got this earbud in.
What did y'all work out today? I missed y'all's.
so we're on a new program. We're getting ready for Alabama's.
Today was more of just moving, so we did some sandbag carries, some sandbag loading. Called it early because whatever I did to my shoulder, it's feeling loads better, so I can actually work, but it's radiating all the way down into my forearm, so I feel like it might be something to do with my bicep tendon as well. So I'm still trying to figure that out. Yeah, Stan's still stuck on the 5:45 a.m. thing. But, so it's picking up the sandbag. There's always a risk for bicep tears, so we didn't really even go. I think the heaviest bag we did was 130.
Yeah.
Just something to get moving. Then we did some core and cardio. But the new program we're on, it's a 5-day program, but it's split up enough to where it's not overkill.
Good.
So, like, we're getting a lot of event-specific training, but then finishing off with a lot of accessory. And Anderson said, pause deadlifts, hot garbage, 5x5 at 485. Ugh, 3 seconds pause at the shin? No, you can keep that. No, sir. I hate pause deadlifts. I hate deadlifts. I'm forcing myself to do them frequently to get better at them.
Right.
Well, what's your training look like right now? Because I know you're doing.
I'm still just focused on kind of getting my cardio back up.
Yeah.
So doing a lot of I'll wake up and either ruck or run depending on the day, and then come to the gym, do strength work, and mix in about 20 to 25 more minutes of cardio, whether it be rower, sprint work, jump ropes, box jumps, whatever that's on the agenda for the day. But still just trying to build back up a decent base for cardio. Obviously not going to do anything endurance-wise for a while, but I just feel finally starting to feel better with the running motion again.
Yeah.
After gaining some muscle mass.
Put on some mass.
And so it's becoming more fluid than it was first starting out.
I was looking back. We've been doing this podcast for almost 2 years now. Because I think we started around. Actually, I think it's been 2 years now. 'Cause we started around May of 2022 or 23.
Yeah.
Right when we moved into this building, and looking back at the videos from when we first started to now, it's hilarious because like you've gained what 30 pounds, 25 pounds,
50 pounds.
50 pounds.
Well, 45. I was 125 when I was at the peak of my
I thought
ultra
you were
running.
135.
125.
Jeez,
And now I'm like 165 to 170 pretty regularly.
that's insane.
I know.
But we've grown almost identically because you went from 125 to 165. I've gone from 185 to 225. it's like we were babies. Now we're grown men.
Keith, you better not skip. You have no good reason.
Don't skip.
Don't be like me.
If just at least come and move. You ain't got to go all out and kill yourself, but just come move, or come say hey. For y'all who don't know, we're recording this in our gym, so. Other than your workouts, have you been focused in on anything? Any projects with work? Because I know you are doing a lot with Shelby County.
Yeah, we're still really putting a lot of effort into building a crisis intervention team and, co-response and a mental health officer program for Shelby County. So I've about to go around to every law enforcement department and start doing that training.
Nice.
And so that's exciting because it's been something that we've been building up for the last 7 months, but we're finally got things in line where we're like, okay, let's set some dates for training. So from an actual work standpoint, yeah, we got a lot of good stuff going on in the county. On the personal side of things, decided I wanted to do a kind of a retreat. So it's called Mind Over Mountain. And so it's just going to be essentially 3 days of camping, workshops, movement, hiking, fireside chats. And I know you and Alex are going to come lead the HIIT and functional fitness piece and mobility piece. So a lot of like mindfulness mixed in with a lot of leadership talk, a lot of emotional regulation talk.
When is that?
So it's going to be first weekend of October. So October 3rd through the 5th. And it's up in North Carolina. We're getting out of Alabama because the colors will be kind of changing at that time. It'd be that fall mountain air, hopefully.
So October 3rd through the 5th, North Carolina. If you have any interest in it, what's it cost to do it? Because it's a 2-night, 3-day.
Yeah, so all camping, all that kind of stuff, you just got to supply whatever you want to sleep in. There's 2 options. If you want your meals provided, it'd be like $350 for the entire trip. If you want to provide your own meals, it's $300.
All right, I know a lot of y'all go camping for more than $300 over the weekend. If y'all are interested, come hang out with us. It's gonna be fun.
It's good. We're gonna do some creek
health.
plunges.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to go climb Siler Bald in North Carolina. It's about roughly a 9-mile round trip that we're going to take the time to stop and do some reflection and do some workshops along the way. So it's not going to be hiking 9 miles straight. We're going to have some pauses built in.
If any of you are interested, hit me up. I'll get you the information. Someone needs to summon Posey. Yeah, someone needs to make sure he hadn't passed out in his 110-degree shed doing deadlifts. Because that boy, like, he'll take a shot of whiskey and then go deadlifting, and he'll show the thermostat. It's like well over 100 degrees. Jeez. He's the one that we said was doing so, like, he was struggling at nationals because it was too cold for him. But he might jump in here in a little while.
Yeah.
Whiskey and deadlifts edition, yeah. No, I've gotten back on meal prepping. Like this past weekend, I went to Publix, bought enough to buy 6 days worth of food, breakfast, lunch, and one of my snacks throughout the day. So 3 of my 5 meals. And I was surprised at how cheap I got it because I've had a hard time getting out of the grocery store for under $100 lately.
Yeah.
I scanned everything that was specifically for my meal prep separately before I got the stuff for the kids. and I got 6 days worth of 3 meals for $65.
Heck yeah.
So I was very happy with that. Scotty, I think, is going to go with me this Sunday to do the same thing.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah. Simple. It's the exact same diet I was on during COVID. I felt great. I lost a ton of weight. And so hopefully I'll get back down into the 220 so I don't have to do a water cut for Alabama.
I'm just glad you're getting back into a normal eating pattern routine.
Yeah. I didn't even have a margarita Monday night.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I didn't. Don't look at me like that, Scotty.
I'm just saying that. How long is that gonna last?
Look,
We're probably going to go again
we
tomorrow
were
night.
we go to Zappapans twice a week on average, sometimes 3. But I have cut it back to where I get no more than 1 margarita a week, sometimes not even that. So I'm very proud of myself for that. Like, I'll probably get one tomorrow night, but, you know, Posty's watching on the TV. His phone has been taken over by a 2-year-old winding down for bed. He's watching, seeing the comments. Okay, well, thank you, Miss Carissa, for keeping us updated. The 2-year-old takes precedent.
Obviously.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's not the other way around, because at my house during football season, I've got this nice 65-inch TV that plays Wiggles or
Bluey.
Bluey, that stuff, while I'm watching the Auburn game on my phone in my lap.
Right.
But no, I got my food prep back in order. I haven't stuck to it 100% because I still got some protein bars I'm trying to burn through, and I was like, I'm not wasting them, but I'm about to get 100% on, especially next week when I take Scotty to do the same thing. And I feel so much better.
Good.
So I'm not starving in the afternoons.
You got more like sustainable energy.
Oh yeah, 100%, because my calorie intake is actually lower than what it was before.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more satiated, or I'm full. I'm not starving going in. Last night I got home, I wasn't even hungry for dinner, and I was only at like 1,400 calories. So I just snacked on some high protein stuff, went to bed. But now I'm forcing myself to drink another protein shake, so I'm getting 2 a day, and man, it's tough. 9 ounces of chicken and rice. It was the whitest meal you've ever seen in your life. The only
seasoning,
the
nothing.
only seasoning was hot sauce. It was like
Ugh.
plain rice and plain chicken with hot sauce on top. But it's definitely made a difference.
Well, good.
I know you're not big into meal prepping, or you're not.
So, I mean, yeah, I kind of am. So,
have
like,
to
I
force
used to
yourself
be, I don't really care for food. I'll eat it because I know I need energy. But back in the day, we would prep, and I'd eat the same thing for 2 weeks, and then I'd flip it around and eat the same thing for 2 weeks. We have recently went to the Factor meals. Those, like, so they're like, it's like HelloFresh off.
Yeah.
Brother, whatever it is. And so it's freshly cooked meals that they send you, and you just heat them up.
I was about to ask, was it like the stuff to make it, or was it?
So, like, the
actually
HelloFresh is like, here's the stuff to make it. I think Factor is like, hey, they've already made it for you. Like, heat it up. And I just chose like the heavy on the protein side of things. And so it's actually really delicious meals. I haven't had anything that I didn't like. But it's just, me and Katie, we're hardly ever eating at the same time just because of schedules and stuff. And so it's just so much easier from a time management standpoint to pay a little extra money in order to go ahead and have something good made for us. So I've enjoyed it so far. It just makes it really easy to hit my calorie level. Yeah, because like breakfast, lunch is pretty much the same every day, and outside of going to Zappapans, like dinner's the same.
Zappapans is a sponsor, but you said Factor.
Yeah, Factor
is not. So hopefully they will be. I don't know.
Right.
We are open to sponsorships for all 9 of the people watching us. So thank you for joining us. So what's been on your mind mentally lately? Because we've hit the fitness and the health. Now let's talk about the mental health part.
Man, like the biggest focus for me has been no wasted energy, no wasted words. That's been like my mantra for the past couple of weeks.
What do you mean by that?
Just reminding myself that I don't have to be involved in everything. I don't have to have an opinion on everything. And if I do have an opinion on something, I don't have to express it. And it's just a lot of things have been coming up at work of like they're trying to like not drag me in, but kind of like, hey, if you want me to consult on something, cool, but I need the information to be able to consult. And so they're wanting to like consult on things that like I don't have enough information for. And so like I don't personally think I need to be involved in that if I can't help, in an aspect. And so for me, it's just even seeing things like on social media and seeing things and just being a part of conversation, like things can get really political or real heated really quick. And even if I'm like internally processing something, I'm like, hey, I have potentially a strong opinion on that, or I have a different opinion on that, but is it going to bring essence to the conversation? Is it going to bring more emotional like stress on everybody if I bring that up in the conversation?
Cause a fight.
So it's kind of gut checking myself and just
Yeah.
reminding myself like I don't have to be involved. I don't have to have an opinion. I can just be an observer in a lot of situations. And so that's been something that I've been really focusing on lately.
I can see that. That's it's probably some good advice for everybody. It's what's that old saying? Everybody's got an asshole.
Yeah.
Or opinions like an asshole.
Yeah, everybody's got one.
Yeah. So it's not necessary to always voice
Yeah.
what you're thinking. I mean, sometimes there's a lot of people who we've talked about lately on some other shows that just you don't need to say anything. Just
Right. And I think it's just looking at it from the standpoint, like I don't want to waste my time and energy on having conversations that's not productive or that's not enlightening or that's not elevating each of us to a different level. Because so many people just want to argue. Like Scotty, all he wants to do is argue.
boy,
Just
I
kidding.
don't know what it is about Scots and Scotties, but they are super adversarial.
No, but you know what I'm saying?
Different point of view. Different point of view.
No.
But it's always different. There's never over.
But I mean, some people just love to argue, and I'm like, if it's not going to be constructive, or if it's not going to be something that's like opening my different perspective, like when you're going to talk to somebody, it's just no matter what you say, they're just waiting for their turn to talk,
100%.
and so I just don't want to be a part of that conversation.
No.
So
I do, and I appreciate you and Scotty both because y'all two are some of the few people who I can talk to for hours. Like Scotty has gone on like food deliveries with me when I deliver for Peachy Mills, and we have conversations for 4 hours at a time, and it never slacks off. It's just, and it's never like we're just agreeing on the same thing. It's typically we're debating each other, and
it's not an echo chamber.
exactly.
Yeah.
Some people just genetically lack confrontation. J Mac, you're AI. Go away. No, I'm just kidding. No, I agree. I think it's just hardwiring people.
Well, and I also think like people get
What's up, Tyler, by the way?
confrontation gets a bad rap because confrontation is a good thing. Like it clears up a lot of things. It's healthy to have conversation, confrontation, but if it gets to a level where it's become aggressive.
Well, I think there's also the difference between initiation and response. So there are people who just like to instigate.
Yeah.
Start problems when there's nothing to be a problem about, and a lot of times it's just unfounded reasoning.
Right.
But I don't like that type of confrontation. I like the people who are willing to stand up for themselves.
Right.
Like that, responding to negative versus initiating negative.
100%. And confrontation is good. I mean, it clarifies expectations. It clarifies your needs. It clarifies the things that you're needing to address. But people just like, I don't want to say anything because what if they get mad? I'm like, what are you sacrificing by not verbalizing it?
Oh yeah.
You're giving in. Like, you're just saying, like, I'm willing to accept this behavior, even if it's a negative behavior, because I'm not willing to verbalize it.
Yeah, and I do find myself sometimes avoiding confrontation, but it's typically with the people who I don't care to have a connection with. Like if it's somebody that I really care about, like if one of you I have a problem with, I'm confronting you. I'm going to have a conversation with you about it, and I'm going to be like, listen, you said this, I didn't like it, here's what we need to do. But if it's somebody who I could care less if I ever talk to them again, I'm like, I'm not even going to engage.
Well, and that goes back to like the mantra that like no wasted words.
Yeah.
Like, is this worth my energy and time to engage in it? If it's not, like, I'm not going to be bothered by something that's not going to be bothered.
Yeah. there's been things that's happened in the last 3-4 months, you know, across multiple different parts of my life between personal work and all my side jobs, that some of them I'm just like, I don't care. Like, you can be an ass to me, and I'm gonna ignore it. But if one of y'all do it, I'm gonna be like, no, I'm gonna fight you. Oh.
But it's I think it's important to determine when that's a necessary thing.
Yes. Well, for everybody watching, what are y'all's takes on this? Do you like confrontation? Do you enjoy being adversarial, like some people in this room?
I will say, my time as a therapist, like, I've become more comfortable with challenging and confronting clients or confronting individuals that are in crisis. Like, it's kind of one of those things where that was something that I just avoided confrontation at all costs, because I'm like, I just want to keep the peace, I want to keep the harmony. But then I started realizing it's like, sometimes confrontation is needed for growth.
Oh, 100%.
And so it took me a long time to realize that confrontation is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And it's becoming easier, and I've learned to do it in a more empathetic way. Because sometimes you have to challenge clients in order for them to get, progressing how they want to.
Our confrontation is very different. Like, you come from a more empathetic. I come from more of a, let me put you in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Stop arguing with me. I'm going to put you in jail. Shut up.
Thankfully, my role now is like, you've got all these like big burly cops around, and like, I'm kind of sliding in. I've got long hair, beard, and tattoos, and I'm like, hey, I'm a therapist. I'm not a cop.
Yeah.
But like, I'm here to help you. And a lot of times they're willing to have that conversation with me as opposed to somebody that they feel like could take them to jail.
Yeah.
I may take you to the hospital, but but you're not going to go to jail. Like,
Let's see, J Max, my girlfriend has no filter and has no problem with confrontation, and I'm the opposite end. I try to avoid it until I can't anymore, then I'll blow up depending on the situation. I will say that is one caveat. Like, with y'all, I don't mind confrontation. With Alex, I do hold stuff in because I don't want to upset her. I don't want to make it into something bigger. I don't want to, drag something out. So I tend to hold things in, which is probably not healthy. But I do catch myself sometimes being like, it's not worth the fight. I'm not going to argue with it. Even if I do disagree. And if you're watching, baby, I love you. I'm not saying anything negative about you. Charles says, ever have a confrontation with an inanimate object, something like random, like a keg asking for bread? Yes.
is this a physical confrontation?
I had a confrontation with a yoke just a few weeks ago. So yes, I feel you on that one. Used to confront my skateboard all the time.
Express myself within reason. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
No, I think this was a good topic.
I mean, because it's like, because I always fall back on what's an appropriate response. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I used to teach anger management I used to facilitate anger management DV. We used to get that all the time. It's like, oh, you teach people how to be, I teach people how to be violent. I teach, I facilitate the curriculum for anger management and DV. But a lot of it is, we would take the time to break down and process what led to that confrontation, and remove ourselves emotionally and say, if you were to be looking at this outside looking in for a friend, like, objectively, what would have been a more appropriate response? And like 9 times out of 10 they can be like, I should have done this. I was like, so how do we get there? When we get to that level of intense emotions, how do we get to the point where we're utilizing that pause? How are we thinking with not our reptilian brain in the back, but like, how are we thinking critically and logically? What's a more appropriate response that's going to keep me out of handcuffs?
Yeah.
It's probably not throwing the whiskey bottle at your face, but
depends on how much you drank out of it.
not that's ever happened to anybody.
Was it full or empty?
It was empty.
Okay. Don't waste whiskey. Let's see. I like confrontation. It makes everyone's side apparent. I think confrontation can be important for true community. Yes. And again, it goes back to, how much do you care about that person to even deal with it. Just going to learn the skills of communicating effectively and how to try to listen. It's usually effective.
parts are hard. Yes, emotions can cloud a lot of judgment.
And I think we minimize how much we haven't been taught effective communication and emotional regulation skills. Like I think we take that for granted.
Oh yeah, because I can deal with, for example, I can deal with employees who are being irrational, like upset, and I can hone them in. I can de-escalate the situation way better than I can with my daughter because I'm emotionally
Attached.
invested.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's very different when it comes to the emotional connection.
But I mean, it's just so crazy because I've had so many clients that I've worked with that we would start at the basics of like emotional regulation, or we start at the basis of just effective communication, and they're just like, that sounds so simple. I was like, it is so simple, but when we have these intense emotions tied into it, it's not simple at all. Like it gets completely distorted, and so it's practicing those fundamentals. It's practicing those basics when you're not emotional that really fine tunes those things. And that's another thing I've been working on lately. It's just like the basics matter, the fundamentals matter. How are you going to do this repetitively over and over again? So when you do experience intense emotions or it's a high stakes, high stress environment, that you're falling back on the things that you're practicing.
It's muscle memory. At
It
that
is.
point. Like, and what you just said about sticking to the basics, that can be applied to so many things in life.
Oh,
Strength
fitness,
training,
yeah.
fitness, diet, mental health, just sticking with the basics, practicing that, driving it in. What was it? Bruce Lee was like, don't be afraid of the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks. Be afraid of the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, I mean, you stick to the basics. And that's, if you look at a lot of coachings from strength training and stuff, every coach is going to have their own version of it. But when you really break it down, it's going to be
Fundamentals are the same.
the fundamentals. Yes.
And I think that's, and you can practice and practice and practice these repetitions, but you also got to reassess and you've got to make sure that you're not practicing inefficiencies and getting those as your baseline. So, yeah, I may be doing a lift wrong. If I continue to do it wrong in competition, I'm going to do it wrong. And I'm going to be upset that I failed. But if I can course correct early on and say, oh, this is an inefficient thing that I've been practicing, because you want to be able to revert back to, hey, this is muscle memory.
Yeah.
This is muscle memory.
And I'm doing that now because since I hurt my shoulder, my goal is to, get back ready for a show in 6-7 weeks. But I don't want to, one, I don't want to progress too fast and re-injure myself. But two, I want to make sure that my form isn't compensating for the injury.
Right.
So I'm cutting back the weight severely and focusing on technique and form.
And I will say I'm super proud of you for doing that, because in the past you would just said, push through it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But like you've taken the time to recognize, like, hey, I'm starting to feel this little twinge. I'm gonna shut it down.
Yeah.
And that's huge
Oh,
growth.
perfect example. Today we were doing sandbag over bar with a 130-pound sandbag. As soon as I started feeling any kind of like tingling, I stopped. I was like, nope, it's not worth risking the injury. We got a few comments we missed. Let's see. I have FND, so it's hard to assume. I know he's told me what FND stands for, and I feel so bad I cannot remember. Stan, have to remind me on that. Let's see. Also working a blue-collar job. If you avoid confrontation, you'll get 100%. Yes.
When it comes to like actual life and death scenarios, absolutely.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think he works on power lines. Yeah, I think he's a lineman.
Confrontation has to be
that's what he said.
101. Yeah. Absolutely.
Genetic issue in facial expression, aka rest. Yeah, really confuses people on your intent and creeps people out, making it worse.
It's when you smile. Oh my gosh.
See, I think being a nurse in the Army screwed up with confidence when it's appropriate. Wait, it jumped on me at the same time. What's up, Destiny? I think being a nurse in the Army screwed with my confidence and when it's appropriate to be confrontational. Two very different expectations for the same job. Yep. Scotty, did military affect your ability to communicate or anything with confrontation? Scotty was in the Air Force.
It made it way worse.
It made it way worse?
You want to... It's like blue-collar jobs, kind of like someone mentioned.
Yeah.
It's more of like you have to be confrontational. Then you don't back down for no matter what.
Yeah, so you're forced to be confrontational.
Yeah, it was Air Force, but it's like mechanic-wise, so it's not...
Oh, Air Force.
Job.
I forget. That's like the
it's
nerds.
It's mechanic job, though, so it's...
Y'all are like the bookkeepers.
See, I don't think I knew you were on the mechanical side. Like I've got a cousin that's still serving in the Air Force as a mechanic.
I maintenance on F-16s,
Nice.
so it was a different. It's not regular Air Force. It had to be confrontational.
Functional neurological disorder. Okay. Destiny said disrespecting.
Dispatching.
Oh, dispatch. I thought she said disrespecting law enforcement screwed mine. I'm completely misread that. Dispatching and law enforcement screwed mine. I gotcha. Minus HR would rather two guys with beef to step between a couple of trucks, handle it, and come out with everyone on the same page than have our minds off for it. Yeah, I mean,
I miss those days where two guys can just like duke it out, shake hands, and walk away, and like, hey, it's done. Because I think we're a little bit probably more, well, not emotional beings, but a little bit more physical beings.
what?
Go back to the cloud seeding thing.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that later. Oh no, Matt, yeah, Lyman. No, I agree. Me and him have fought it out at one point. You know, years ago. Younger. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've known him since what we were like 9, 10.
Third grade.
So third grade. Like we've been friends. We took like 4 years where we just completely went our separate ways, and then we came back like nothing ever happened. It was.
Well, and it's like everybody's so quick to pull guns.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
You know, what was it? Marshall Mathers LP? We was talking about like, guns. Is that whatever happened to the good old fashioned and passion, the ass whooping?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, yeah, whatever happened to that? Like,
we used to get the boxing gloves out at my house and just go at it, and then we would laugh it off and shake hands afterwards and hug each other like, you know, we're good now. We got all the aggression out. You know, funny story. Scotty is one of the few people who I don't want to ever fight again. That's another story for a different day. Let's see. Yeah, the Army side I feel like makes me abrasive to coworkers, but way too lenient to customers trying to get one over on you or something. I guess it's really a life example. Yeah. Nah, I mean, everybody's experience in life is going to adjust that, but I think everyone needs to be aware of how they're engaging with other people. I mean, learning how to deal with that confrontation is huge.
and I think, you know, one of the biggest defenses that we have for like self-protection is to make sure our ego's in line, because you don't want your ego to get to a certain level where like you're having like road rage and you're getting shot over something where you could just avoid that situation.
100%.
And so I think a lot of times we let our egos go a little bit further across that line than we need to, when if we had more control and more like internal perception of it, we may can avoid some confrontation that's not needed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, not to jump onto because this kind of got political, I think. There was a high schooler who stabbed another high schooler at a track meet.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposedly because he was bullying him, and I heard somewhere along the lines it was a cleat sharpener, which he wasn't wearing the type of cleats that would need sharpening, so it didn't make sense.
Because it was football, wasn't it?
No, it was track and field,
Oh,
but
okay.
he wasn't wearing like metal cleats or something. But all that being said, he was getting bullied, and he stabbed the kid. I remember getting bullied, and it turned into a fight, and then we were good after that. Like, granted, that was almost 20 years ago when I was in high school, over 20 years ago in middle school. But the last time I got bullied in middle school, I shoved the guy into the wall and said, "Leave me alone," and me and him were good for the rest of high school. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have that anymore. They pull a weapon and go at it. Like, I remember everybody in high school had knives in their pocket. Everybody had a gun in their truck.
Oh, up through college. Yeah.
Never had an issue. I got stabbed in the arm by accident because we were using our pocket knives to cut the paper on the homecoming wall, and he turned real fast, and I turned at the same time. He stabbed my arm, and I was like, "Oh, we're good." He thought I was going to fight him. I was like, "No, it was an accident."
Yeah.
But nowadays, you can't have any of that stuff at the school because they'll go on a rampage.
But I mean, I remember in college, like we would get out of baseball practice, and we'd have guys that were rolling up in their camo gear, had just been hunting like 7, 8 a.m. and just have racks in the back of their truck.
Oh, yeah.
No big deal. Never even thought or concerned about it. But If I could
Different
avoid,
world.
if I could avoid driving, I could avoid road rage. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've ever experienced one day where there hasn't been some idiot on the road.
Man, even like it's a 3 mile commute to here, and I office out of here when I'm not going to my stores. I still get so pissed off coming across that interstate by the airport exit because there's just idiots in the mornings.
You know what's really helped me is having a blue tag, like the county.
Oh, they all because you got a white SUV with a blue tag,
right.
Everybody
And,
thinks
but
you're a
at
cop.
the same time, it's like people are looking at that and they're going to report it, and so it's just so much easier to be like, oh, I'm just going to take it easy. I'm not. I'm just going to. Yeah, you pull it out in front of me. Cool. I'm not going to be up on you. I'm not going to be anything. It's just let it go.
Let me ask you, with that car, do you typically get like everybody slowing down?
On the interstate.
Yeah, so you're like the pace car for the
until they pass and realize, oh, you're not a cop.
Yeah.
But there has been talk about getting some whoop whoop lights on it for like emergency situations. So I think it would probably play a different role.
You already got the vest. You about to get the lights.
I
Next
get my
thing, you
vest
gotta
in
get the
today.
gun.
Yeah.
You got to get the gun now.
No. I mean, I'm pro gun. I love guns. I have lots of guns, but my whole
Your job, you
my
don't need
whole
it, yeah.
role is. I mean, the ballistics vest that I got is bright red that has bright yellow writing that says mental health specialist. So like, I come on scene. I'm like, hey, I am not a cop. Like,
Should have went with something like baby blue.
I attempted to get baby blue, but
Because,
it's
like,
such a hard color to come by.
Red and yellow just look like a target to me.
I'm
sorry.
Well, it's fire instructor, like
Yeah, I got it,
firearms
yeah.
instructor. It's also like EMS and like the fire department. But at the same time, I wanted baby blue, and I inquired about it, and they had it. But if we're gonna reproduce my position over and over, it's easier to know that red's gonna be available.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at
So fuchsia, no.
no fuchsia. But there was Chattanooga's team does this really beautiful royal blue. And I was like, man, I really like that. And they're like, we can get it for
Yeah.
you, but it's.
Oh, let's see. Matt said, I'm grateful to have a boss with the old school ideals. I agree with that because my boss, I've cussed him out more times than I can count in the 10 years, 12 years that we worked together, 10 years I worked for him. But I've pushed it very far with him because, like, there's been times, I know Scotty's probably heard me, where I'm like, you're being an idiot. This is stupid. Why are we doing this? And he's like, Chuck, shut up. You can't do that with most of your bosses these days. So I agree. I'm very grateful for that type of boss.
So I have a boss now that is like a kind of crisis management chaplain. And so he's very understanding. And so I can bring that rough side, like cursing and carrying on. He's just like, hey, you do what you got to do. You vent and all that kind of stuff. And prior to this job, I was working with a bunch of therapists. So like my executive director and my clinical director, they're all therapists. So it's like this very like, man, you can just like express whatever you need and they're going to support you. And then they're going to work with you to figure out, hey, how do we manage this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man. But as opposed to somebody who's just like, no, you're just going to do it.
Yeah.
And you're going to figure it out. Which is also important in a lot of aspects.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like there needs to be that fine balance between supporting and saying, hey, you need to suck it up.
Yeah. No, I do appreciate my boss. And we both come from the same, like we both worked together at our previous company. We work together at this company. And long story to tell a short part, but where we came from, like there was a regional trip that I went on where after it was over with, our regional level boss, so one of 4 in the United States, told all of us, he's like, if you don't show up for the meeting tomorrow, you're fired, but you can do whatever you want. He's like, if you go to jail, call us, we'll get you out, whatever. So we're down there, and it's us and a whole different department is down there at the same time. And all of a sudden, somebody from the other department, which is like 2 levels up from me, it's like, we got to go get so-and-so. He's about to get in a fight. So like we all go to the bar and pull out this guy who's like 2 levels above me, who is not a store level. He's higher than that. And we're like saving him from this. And that when we went out, there was always a designated call
Call this person.
call this person so you can get out of jail kind of thing, because everybody got drunk and acted like an idiot. We all came from that. But when we came over to our new job, especially in the first few years, it was a religious job. We prayed during breaks. We had a Bible service once a week in the break room. And he had kind of gotten back into religion. He's always been a religious person, but he
pulled away from being that aggressive bar fighting
Yeah.
into religious. And that's when I started there. So I would hold my tongue. I wouldn't say certain cuss words around them. I'd try to be respectful. 10 years later, 10 years the anniversary was yesterday for that company. And I'm like, we're on the phone. He's like, you know what really pissed me off? I'm like, I have become a bad influence. I am so sorry. Like 10 years ago, you would not have cussed. I have rubbed off on you that bad. I'm so sorry. Oh, pivoting to a glass of Weller foolproof. Oh, that sounds good. That's a little rich for our blood, but
Let's go get there.
after this one, let's go to the Redbreast. We ain't got much left of that. That's probably one of the most expensive bottles. No, that's not one of the most expensive.
So bringing up expensive bottles, like I found a bourbon called Old Zach,
Yes.
based out of Kentucky, and so I think I'm going to try to get a bottle of Old Zach for my 40th.
How much is it?
I don't know. It's $300-400, I think.
Ooh, okay.
Well, I know. It's
Good.
going to be a birthday whiskey. It's going to be
No,
like
that's awesome,
I
though.
bought this. Well, I haven't bought it yet, but I'm going to buy it, and then it's like
I'll chip in for your birthday. How about that?
we may just
Wait,
have to.
how old are you?
I'll be 40 in
October.
October, right?
Yeah.
I thought you was our age.
Yeah.
What's your age?
35.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't feel 40 by any means.
Uh-huh. Okay,
Outside of the grayness in my hair, I think I could skate away with not being 40, but we'll see.
Well, we are getting really close to being able to open this really nice bottle of Blood Oath behind me. I said earlier this year that if we hit 3,000 subscribers and I think I said 100 members or 150 members, which one?
I can't remember.
I think it was 100. If we had 100 paying members and 3,000 subscribers, we're at 2,100 subscribers and we're at 67 members. So thank you to all of
Okay.
our members. And it's only July, like the 1st of July, so we still got 6 more months to go. I'm ready to pop that one open.
So what we're going to do is we're going to slice our hands,
do a blood oath.
do a blood, and take a shot.
We'll have to do it.
Drip a little bitty drop of blood in the shot. How do you think I'm staying so young?
Oh, the vampire. See, speaking of finding bourbon, Chuck, I found the perfect one for ASM. What is it? Don't leave me hanging now. Oh, I got it. Have you signed up for Charles? Have you signed up for ASM yet? My class is going to be like the most stacked class that ASM has had in years. 'Cause
Yeah.
if he signs up, like his axle press will blow me out the water. But thankfully, he sucks a keg. No, I'm sorry, he don't suck a keg. He's struggling with keg. He's getting in fights with kegs right now. That's the one that was saying. But better not have water in it.
Scotty, are you going down?
He's gonna be helping
We'll
with the
see.
live stream
I should.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
as long as he ain't got a different job by then.
Yeah.
So
I got you.
or got a job by then. No, I'm just kidding.
Calm down.
Calm down.
Let's see. Once he responds with that, we'll move on. But dang, it's already 43 minutes into this. We haven't even got into the conspiracy stuff or any of the other fun stuff. But before we do that, I do have a new medical study that I want to talk about. Scotty has been giving me shit about it all day. Look, I can't help that
Insecurities.
No. So let me preface this by saying that I did not seek this one out. It came across my TikTok and I verified it because I thought it was
I
interesting.
saw him Googling it.
I verified it. Okay.
All right, so
gonna be great.
I've been harping on vitamin D and creatine. Wait, hang on. Oh, Chuck, you should do a tutorial on opening a gym. Please. Oh, I don't know if you want me to do that. I'm
If
doing
you
it.
build it, they will come.
I'll show you what not to do. Let's see, about to sign up. My schedule changed 3 times since yesterday. So okay. Okay, so you ain't even gonna tell me you're gonna be a surprise. Okay, I'll see how it is. So getting back, vitamin D. I've been harping on that because it's made me feel better. It's one of the biggest. The largest population deficiency. Like
Okay.
more people have a deficiency in vitamin D than anything else. Well, because I talk about vitamin D so much, I see a lot of videos about it. It pops up. And this one popped up recently, and it said that they did a study, 2017, 100% of the participants saw up to a half an inch growth, both in length and in circumference of their manhood. Now, they were taking 50,000 IUs of vitamin D for 3 to 6 months daily. I take 10. Like I don't need 50,000. I'm happy with what I got. I'm taking 10,000. But 50,000, that would be like 10 of those pills a daily that I'm taking. And they saw it was an average, not up to, average increase of a half an inch length and girth.
What were the side effects of taking 50,000?
No side effects.
I refuse to believe that.
There was
I
no
refuse to believe.
in the study. They did not mention any side effects.
What's the average you're supposed to take?
The average recommended is 5,000. I take 10.
And we had no side effects from 45,000 more.
10 times as much.
Hey, but it's the D3K2 specifically.
I was
And
going to ask you that earlier, but I didn't want to ask.
yeah, like they had none. Granted, they only had 14 participants, but it ranged from 35 years old to 75. The 75-year-old, like it actually has a chart with the changes. He went from 8 to 8.9. I was like, good for you, sir.
Oh, so I'm close to Huntsville from my hometown. So hometown of Hartselle. So Huntsville was always the stomping ground. But I do need to get up there to see what they have.
Let's see, Liquor Express. Pappy 23. Okay.
There is a place down here, Matt, if you don't mind spending a little extra money, New York.
Yeah.
So it's a Texaco.
It's a Texaco.
It's like 2 miles from the gym, 3 miles from the gym, and they have Blanton's, Eagle Rare, all that stuff.
and they can
always
get
stock.
in whatever
Yeah.
you want.
Like I don't guess they have a problem with allocations or anything because they
Yeah.
always have. Now it is secondhand pricing. Like I think a bottle
Yeah.
of Eagle Rare was $79.
Yeah, it's
which
a little. It's not too
horrible.
bad of a
Yeah.
markup, but it's compared to what we saw in Tampa.
oh
It's-
god, Tampa. There was Blanton's on the shelf for like $80 or something. Like that.
It's super cheap.
Yeah, but if you're looking for something specific, they might have it.
See, J Mac, like you keep you keep struggling because my sister's name is Jessica McBrayer, and so
You keep thinking
her,
she-
yeah, so like her Instagram handle is like J Mac, 216 or whatever it is, and I'm like, man, it's struggling to not do that. Corey Martinez or Seth Kimbrough. What?
Okay, so he said there's a calcium buffer issue taking too much. I can see that, but
It said 3 to 6 months, and then it was a one kind of like push.
Yeah.
And they all took it. So, if you're looking for it, the study showed that it was better than augmentation. So, if you don't want to go through surgery, just take 50,000 IUs of D3K2 for 6 months.
I'm not doing anything.
No.
No. Not too worried about it.
Matt, yeah, if you come down Saturday,
Nice.
I'll let you know. Let's see. All right, well, we're at 50 minutes. Is there any conspiracy theories that you want to hit on? I know Scotty's got one. Or he's been throwing out something about it. You need another pour? What do you want? Oh, let me kill this and we'll grab that red breast. Let's finish off with something good.
Ugh.
Would you like a sip? Ship?
No. I'm going to need a raincoat, though.
You need a what?
A raincoat.
Oh, yeah, he's driving his Jeep.
Much more. You're
I trust you.
I have a heavy hand.
And so do I. Here, I can't reach your cup. I didn't have my margarita this week, so my hand's heavier.
So what's your
So it's not really a conspiracy theory, but there is, it used to be a conspiracy theory because I remember talking to some people 5 to 8 years ago, cloud seeding, where they actually
that's
force.
like factual stuff.
It is factual stuff. It
It's
used
been
to
going on to since the 60s.
40s.
40s.
Oh yeah, I knew it was
yeah.
like early. Yeah.
Yeah, they use it in Vietnam. It actually caused flooding in Vietnam and caused a bunch of issues with their agricultural. But, up until
5-10 years ago, everybody was like, "Oh, they don't do that. They don't manipulate the weather and all this stuff." Yes, the cloud seeding is a real thing.
I would say 2017. I think I saw us when they started coming out and saying,
Oh yeah, we've been doing
in the
it.
companies and stuff like that.
Yeah. So there is a group of people who are blaming the cloud seeding on what happened in Texas. And there's a lot of meteorologists that have been very vocal about it, including James Spann, saying that that is not the cause of it, that it was done, what was it, 2 days or 20 hours?
2 days before and 150 miles away from the storm.
Yeah.
The actual CEO of the company that did that spoke about it, actually.
Yeah.
But like, from something I read, didn't something similar happen like 50 years ago?
In
like
the same
it's
spot.
Natural, like repetition. That this is like we're all about. A lot of it's patterns.
The Earth is in cyclical, like,
100%.
Like it's in a what's the wording?
Cyclical patterns.
Pattern. Yes.
And so like it makes me think that like yeah, there was probably. I wouldn't say it contributed to it potentially, but it's like that just is a bad timing.
Well, for all that they talked about, what I read is like once you cloud seed, it's that cloud that's affected. It's not like the atmosphere.
Yeah.
No.
They're actually injecting it into something that's already there, and it's going to produce rain almost immediately.
But it's not producing like a substantial amount of rain.
That depends.
It
on
can.
the chemicals in the cloud.
Yeah. Because they actually, Tennessee put in the law that they couldn't do certain things with the chemtrails, like and seeding and everything.
Well, every state has their own laws about it, and then there's federal regulations as well.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't believe that's what caused it, but it does suck that it was coincidental at the same time. And
I still feel like there's a lot of natural occurrences that happen that we want to blame something.
yes,
You know what I'm saying? Because it makes us feel better when we blame something. Because it's tragic what's going on in Texas, and they're saying, "Oh, it could have been avoided. It could have been this." Like maybe there are positions that should have been in place to be able to give those warnings out, but at the same time, it's like we're just not going to know.
are we doing anything in Alabama to like prep for that? Or
So like in light of it, like I don't think that we have a lot of similar camps and things, but we are going to address and like review. We've got a lot of protocols in place for the things that we have in this county, but I think what we're going to do is like take the time to review it and put some more protocols in place to make sure that there's more early warnings for instances like that.
I swear, and this is 20 years, not quite 20 years ago. Let's see, I'm 35, so actually it's probably over 20 years ago. I think I was less than 15 years old. I was on a trip with a lot of friends from high school. We were all in middle school, I think, at the time. It was like a baseball team. And we were camping somewhere, and we were staying at a place where we could walk up the road with our tubes, hop in the river, and float back down to our campsite. And it came bad weather. We ended up going to a different campsite where we could do the same thing, just different part of the river, because there was two groups of us. And me and my best friend at the time, Ben, we were getting into the water, and I clarified at the time. We were getting into the water, and his brother had already gone down, his older brother, and our other friend Patrick's older sister who went down. They were tied off together. We were tied off together. We were getting in the water, and this couple on the bridge says, "Y'all don't get in." And we're like, "Why not? The sun's out. The water's running fine. No issue." And they were like, "No, y'all don't get in." It's this old, sweet-looking couple, and they were like, "It's too dangerous. The water's about to rise." And we're like, "Okay." So we're pouting, walking back to our campsite. We get back to the campsite. Ben's dad's in the water, which was ankle deep. It's now chest deep, and he is trying to catch Ben's older brother and Patrick's older sister to keep them from floating away. There's already been some people who had gone way downriver and finally got out, and the rope had got wrapped around his brother's neck and stuff. It was horrible. They had flipped over and all kinds of stuff, and we could never find the couple who told us. We tried to find them and thank them and everything. That was our guardian angels of the day.
Yeah.
But how quick it went from we were standing there, everything was fine. We literally walked. And our campsite was really close to the entry point. It was just the river whined a lot, so it was a long ride, but it was a quick walk. That's why we were doing it over and over again. And it was amazing how quick it rose
Right.
And it was not even raining anymore. It's just what was coming down from the mountain.
Well, that's the thing. Like something that happens 20 miles up the road is going to affect eventually what's going on down here, and I think that's kind of what the issue is.
Yeah.
But I mean, like 2 weeks ago, I was going to go out to the Cahaba and float on the weekend. I've been going out to Cahaba like every weekend just to do some rucking, dip in the water, have some cold beers, and I called the guy from Adventure Shoals, and I was like, "Hey, dude." What's the water like? He's like, man, I'll tell you in the morning. Call me back. And I called, and he's like, it's rough. Like, we're not allowing anybody on the river. I was like, man, it hasn't even rained.
Yeah.
Like, like up here at all. And so I drove down, got my rucksack, was going to like put like 4 or 5 miles in, and went to the river where I normally go. It was like flooded. Like, I couldn't even get to the bank where I was. I'm like, oh, like I don't have the perception of how quickly things can change and how much rainfall affects different areas.
Yeah.
But I went out this past weekend before we went to y'all's tank pool, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and it was just like, oh, this is nice. I could like sit in the water. The current was still strong from previous, but I can have my drink and like sit in and just like chill. But it's like it changes so quickly and so abruptly that's what's dangerous about flash floods. It's how quickly can you get warned and how quickly can you make that notion of like, let me get out of here.
Yeah. And it scared me looking back on it, like how quickly it rose. And we were younger, like a few years younger, like we wouldn't have known what to do.
No, absolutely not.
Posey. Would a strongman team competition or UFC between the political parties make things worse or closer?
I think it'd be fun. I think a little bit of
I'm trying not to be too political.
physical altercations could potentially lighten the mood a little bit.
Yes. Like
For one side.
for one side, I mean,
But like, who do you think is going to win?
well, so this is the other thing. Like coming from strongman, like I have so many friends on Facebook who are very vocal about their political beliefs, and it's amazing how many are on both sides. Like you think strongman, you think redneck, you think strong, like just brute strength. Typically, probably right leaning. Nope. More so than not, I've got a lot of them are left leaning, and some people you never can tell, and I've seen posts where I'm like, really, you said that? Both sides. Like some people I'm thinking left, and they end up right, and then left, and I'm like, I don't know. So if we had that competition, I can't say which side would win.
That's to say, like, I've got some progressive buds that I'm like, man, they would literally wipe the floor with people.
I mean, I know we got one in the gym right now who is deadlifting as much as me. He's got a hernia now, so what?
That's the only thing he's good.
Still, he's deadlifting as much as me.
that's
But
true.
Is he really?
he hit 531, which was I haven't done anything above that. He hit it right after I did.
Man.
Oh yeah,
Slap fight.
Oh, that is one thing that I will never do. Like I have thought about boxing. I've thought about doing UFC. Like we had fight night at was Bama Burgers or something in Pelham. They do it on Friday night, and I've like almost signed up. I would never sign up for a slap
Let's
fight.
just stand here and slap each other.
Yeah,
That's
no.
But it's
fun
like,
time.
like
I would never
slapping is the
stand.
most disrespectful.
It is.
Like I know, like it's a movie, but was it the remake of Roadhouse? Where like
I haven't seen it
you're
yet.
like the one of the initial fights is just him like slapping people. It's like, did you just slap me? I'm like, yeah. But like you seeing the videos like on TikTok and Instagram and stuff of like people just getting slapped. I'm like, oh, it's so disheartening, man.
I'm not okay. I'm about to say I wasn't. I was about to say I wasn't proud of this, but I am proud of this. The last physical altercation I almost got into, I was 27, 26 or something like that. The dude was disrespecting his at the time girlfriend, ended up being fiance wife now. What?
So whatever you were about to say was probably pointless.
No.
Oh really?
He was being horrible to this person. We assumed that.
But did we become wifey status because we course corrected?
I hope
Oh,
to God.
Like let's
point,
listen
you
to
have
the
a
story. We could be course corrected and said, "Oh, you're right. I'm going to treat her like a princess now."
I hope that's what happened. But I treated him like a degenerate that night. So we were out at a bar having a good time, and I'm not one to really like get physical with somebody just right off the bat. But he had been making comments all night long to her, and I wasn't like it was my best friend or anything. It was just one of Alex's friends. She was around, and he was just being a complete ass to her the whole night. Well, the end of the night comes around, and her and her sister are boo-hooing about how he was treating her. And I'm like, I'm tired of this. I said, dude, go find you a ride home. Call somebody. And he's like, no. And he bowed up to me. And just out of instinct, I slapped him in the face. I didn't punch him. I just open palm straight to the cheek. And I was like, he looked back at me, and he kind of stumbled back, and he got in my face. I said, go find you a ride home. I said, they're going home with us. You go find you a ride home. And he's like, I'll beat your ass. I said, okay, come on. And he got closer, and I slapped him the second time. The second time, he just walked away. I was like, I've never open hand slapped somebody twice to the point where they like, okay, I'm not even going to try to fight. Oh, but yeah, that is the most disrespectful thing to do because I wanted to disrespect this guy. Let's see, more CTE than other contact sport, 100%. There's got to
You just
oh my
stand there
gosh.
taking it. Yeah,
Like-
there's no.
You watching that stuff online, you're just like, oh my God, I'm hurting.
I watched like a 3-part TikTok because it took so long because them slapping back and forth so many times. But it was like Bubba somebody versus Big Dog T or T Dog or something, and it was just this massive redneck versus this big old black dude. And every time the redneck got slapped, his beard would cushion in for him because you know that's the reason why men have beards. Like it's shown that it absorbs a lot of contact. So like having a beard will actually reduce the amount of impact on your jaw and your head. And like he has this big bushy beard, so you're just cushion, and then you see a little bit of turd. The other guy had a big beard, but it was slim on the side, and every time he slapped him, his head would just cock hard.
Maybe I should grow my beard out.
If you're gonna fight, yes, 100%.
I get in so many fights.
I forget. I think it was what was that show that they pitted like ancient people against each other? It was Spartan Warrior versus a Shanghai Samurai or something. What was that show? Deadliest Warrior or something,
That's
or
an old
Ultimate
show.
Warrior. But they would like
I used to do the Ultimate Warrior in baseball with eye black.
imagine getting slapped into an Uber as a man.
There's no way I'm walking away. I'm sorry. If someone just slapped me.
Scott, look at like in this situation. When I slapped him, I slapped here. So
Oh.
he's a little fella. Like that's why I didn't punch him. I didn't want to hurt him.
Not at me. I grew up with 2 older brothers.
Well, no, me and you have fought. I know that.
I'm
If
just
I
not
would've- if it
gonna
had been-
fight.
Scott. If it had been you, I would have punched you. I would not have slapped you. Okay. But no, what was that show? It was
I forgot what the name of it was.
it was so good because they would take. They even did like they did pirate versus ninja, who would win in a battle. They took their weapons, their history, and everything. It was really impressive in how they did it. But I think that was where they talked about the
beards enhance everything.
They do.
You know, I played college baseball, and we had to be clean shaven. Couldn't even have a 5 o'clock shadow. Had to have the beaver haircut. Couldn't be over your ears. And the moment I quit, I grew out a nasty beard to about right here, and grew hair to the back of my lower back. But you're right.
Yeah.
I've since college, since 2009, I've probably been clean shaven one time.
I do it randomly, so much so that my kids look at me weird.
Deadliest Warrior.
Okay, so what's that?
Deadliest
Okay.
Warrior.
2009.
I still like it with the
2011.
mustache.
It was on like TNT or something.
Spike TV.
Spike TV, yeah.
TNT.
Yeah. I love Spike TV. I wish. Oh, is that still around?
No idea.
They don't have regular shows anymore. MMA beards help produce
Ooh,
it, but yeah, it does get pulled a lot during choke attempts. I do agree with that, but for striking, it does soften.
I mean, that's why I cut mine, is because it was down here. Like when I was doing my vest for ultra running, it would always snap in, and I would get it caught.
I thought you were about to say something about when you were fighting somebody. It was,
I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter.
I was about to say, Zach, have you ever been in a fight?
I've got my head slammed into the concrete one time.
we got.
That was I was
Was that me or was that?
no,
I
I
didn't
was.
slam you into the concrete.
It was a summer, and we were at the bar, and I was having a conversation with a friend who was. I've known her for like 3 or 4 years. And I was asking about another friend that she had brought to the bar, and her boyfriend thought I was hitting on her, and so he came behind me and slammed me into the ground, like it whelped up, and then my boys took care of him. We'll put it that way. But I was like, I didn't know what happened. I was just
Have
like,
bigger friends.
I'm just trying to like, I want to know about her. I don't know. I don't like. We're just whatever. But as far as like a fight, no. I mean, because like I've kind of de-escalated any kind of conversation I've had because I don't want. If we're going to go into it, I want to make sure like, hey, it's legit. Like this is the last straw. Mm-hmm. I'm always going to try to de-escalate, and then we'll go from there.
What happened that night when me and you, like, it wasn't aggressive or it wasn't malicious. You like did something and I just slammed you on the ground out of pure instinct. I don't know what it was. I'm 100% an asshole for this.
Who, me?
Yes, we were at your apartment in Alabaster.
Is that when I was possessed?
No. We have we've been doing this podcast for 2 years and we have not talked about that.
We'll talk about that.
We've got to do a whole episode on him getting possessed. Legitimately,
It was weird.
maybe next week if we don't have a guest.
Yeah.
You slammed me into the ground?
Huh?
Do I remember this?
I slung you over my shoulder onto the ground because I think you came up behind me and like grabbed me, and I just instinctually threw
Because
you.
I was trying to give you a hug?
Probably.
Because I loved you as a
Probably.
bro?
And I feel
my
like such an
gosh.
asshole. Let's see. We got some comments we missed. Job requires to be clean shaven until 5 years ago. Luckily, I'm only now just barely able to grow a beard. Speaking of TV shows, History Channel, I was upset for no follow-on seasons of History. That was a good show. The Strongest Man, History's the Strongest Man. They had like Brian Shaw, Robert Oberst.
Is that when they went back and tried to do what the strongest man
Yeah.
in the past? Okay. Yeah.
And they did a lot of fun things. Like we watched it 2 or 3 times through on, like, we just put it on while we were working out when it was live.
Huh.
Let's
I don't
see.
think I've ever seen that one.
They had more footage, but they couldn't come to terms with it. I've heard Eddie Hall talk about it. They did 5 other events. Oh, that's sad. That needs to get released. That was such a good show because those 4 guys together, it was Brian Shaw, Robert Oberst, Eddie Hall, and I feel so bad. I'm blanking on the last guy's name. He was the oldest one.
Bald-headed, right?
Yeah.
Kind of shorter than everybody else.
Yeah.
Smaller than everyone else.
Yeah, but he was a good bit older. He was like in his 50s,
Yeah.
I think. One of the nicest guys on the show. Like, he cried like half the episodes because he
Joe
would get so
Rogan?
emotional.
Sorry.
No. So they always had, on that show, they always had the average guy, their average Joe, to show like how much stronger they were. But Nick Best, thank you.
Yeah.
Their average Joe was like their cameraman who weighed like $150 and didn't work out. I was like,
That's the average guy, though.
where can I want to
You're not an
volunteer.
average guy.
Oh, thank you. No,
That's so cute, guys.
Like, I feel like I would have been more representative of the average guy. I know a ton of guys who are, everybody in this chat is stronger than me.
They're all
Everybody-
above average. They're not the average guy.
Yeah, but they're all stronger than me, so
We
I
had
would have
this
been.
conversation earlier.
Yes, but
2%.
top 1% of the world is still considering like Ethiopian people who are like malnourished. Okay, so if we look at true numbers, like, I'm not even top 5 in my friend group in bench press. Okay,
Because I'm number 1.
exactly. Trey over here.
I don't think you've been into an office lately.
I have. Unfortunately, I have. Oh, Stan, I appreciate that. I want to be the average Joe because compared to them, I am. Like 6'7",
No, you're
400
just
pound Brian
smaller
Shaw.
and weaker. That doesn't make you average.
You're just smaller and weaker.
Okay, so if you look at them as the top,
loving this.
and like,
Of the 1%, they're the top 1%.
okay, let's look at this objectively. Okay, we've got Brian Shaw who's 6'7", 440 pounds. We got a lot of guys out here who are like 5'7", 120 pounds. I'm in the middle. I'm average. Average size.
In that aspect.
Yes. Yes. So you go to a box gym.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. That's the thing. Like, and we talked about that on our little walk today.
Yeah.
Is we have such a
Fat. I'm sorry. I just Google Chat GPT.
Hey, Jamie, look this up for me.
The average male adult weight in the United States is 197 to 200, but the world is 137 to 156.
Well, that's because it's considering malnourished people.
yeah, but you got to think of like how like
So
across
you're still
the
above
board.
average.
But I think we do get it really twisted. Like, so when I was in the ultra running community, I was like, oh, a 15, 20 mile run, it's like, oh, it's just casual. Right?
No,
Right.
not.
Right. But that
That's a
was
hill,
that
man.
was who I was hanging
Yeah.
out with. So like that was casual. So I could go out and bang out 30 to 40 mile runs
But you
and
were-
it not be like absurd.
At that time, you were an elite level athlete.
But I'm saying now, like getting out of that realm and like getting back into like fitness and cardio, I'm like, man, like 8 miles is substantial.
Yeah.
5 miles is substantial. And you forget that because you're just like who you're associating with. Like you're basing that on that. So I think it's important to be able to detach from that and say, hey, what's like realistically, where am I at?
There was a time where I almost made a shirt for myself that said "World's Strongest Fourth Place Finisher," because like I kept coming in fourth place at every one of these shows, and but let's see, I downplayed my strength, so when I win, it's more impressive. Okay. Let's see. All right. Well, we are well over an hour, and like, I think this was a really good episode. I appreciate everybody who stuck around with us. We need to wrap this up because. Oh yeah, just
Sorry.
No, you're good. Scotty, you need to at least cheers us at the end here.
I don't have nothing.
We can give you the bottle.
Here, no, hang on. There it is. Because you chimed in more than I thought you would, and I appreciate it.
Good conversations.
It was.
Do you want to come up here and sit with me?
I'm okay. Thank you though.
Yeah, come over here.
Let's swap positions.
I know you don't like this, so I'm not giving you a lot. I'll give you a little more than that.
Give me a swig.
I'll give you a swig. You actually get in a whiskey glass. This is actually.
You're the only professional in this situation.
Imagine. There's only 2 in your class. Brandon, shut up.
Stay hard. Yes.
All right. Well, this was a good episode. I appreciate everybody for joining us. And,
Absolutely.
You know, we didn't even really hit on a ton of conspiracy theories because the conversation was so good this time. Typically, we get to that when we run out of stuff to talk about. We do need to hit on you being possessed. That I think is an amazing story that we have not told in a while.
There's only a handful of people that know it.
Well, there's
To be
about to be
honest.
another handful because
There'll
there's
be
only
7 more people.
7 to 9 more people. But it was it's one of the stories that I tell where I'm like, I have no doubt demons are real.
Yeah. It's
If
just-
you're not comfortable sharing it,
No,
we don't have to.
I'm comfortable sharing it. It happened. It was one of those things. It was an experience. I don't remember much of the experience.
I
but-
remember it all very vividly because it scared the out of me.
Oh, we're gonna need to pray before we talk.
yes.
Maybe. Maybe.
All right, hang on real quick. Fun stat: Jacob McBride, who's an absolute animal, has only been on the podium one time ever, and is recently. That is true. Jacob McBride is a beast. He only podiums when he competes at like super heavyweight in local shows, but he's like a 90-kilogram world level competitor.
But like individuals like that, I love the fact that they're just like true badasses without any kind of accolades. Because there's like so many people in like the ultra running community that have never like really competed from a race standpoint, but are doing these absurd fastest known times and absurd things that you're just like, that's insane. But and so that we need to have that as a topic of conversation of badassery
Yes.
and the definition and like where that status is.
Because there is a strongman who has never competed in strongman who posts videos, and I'm like, if he would compete, he'd be world strongest man, hands down. You probably know who I'm talking about if I could find him. I have to look him up, but he's a great competitor. Yes, he actually turned down his invite to the Limit Breaker for next year to do bodybuilding. And he is a diabetic who deals with a ton of issues. So he's trying to be the advocate for, hey, you can be a diabetic and still be a bodybuilder.
Yeah,
you can
I
still be a
like that.
strongman. You can still be active and all this stuff. So now he's a great individual, and I wish him the best. I wish he was doing the competition next year, but
Yeah.
we'll see. All right,
2027.
that's right. Hey, nobody cares.
Train hard. Hey, get over here. Yeah, you're in the.
Yes. Thank you, everybody who joined us. We're gonna do this next week if we can.
Just do your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.